Thank you, Betsy. That was a beautiful reading, inspirational reading that you shared with us. So thank you for that too. I'm just so excited to be with my church family this morning. The title of my lesson, More Space for Grace, calls up for me last Sunday's burning bowl and letter to God. Just the idea that the white stone seals with new ideas and a new word specifically, the vacuum that we deliberately created together last Sunday. It was interesting to me that the scripture from last Sunday informed my prayer life this week. Sometimes that happens, and it's important for me to trust that. So I will be reading again, sharing from the 31st Psalm, verses 19 and 20. Psalm 31, verses 19 and 20. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that worship thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Hide them in the citadel of thy presence from the tumult of men, and with thy shadow guard them from contention. So certainly we abide in the shadow of the Almighty at all times and seek moment by moment to heighten our awareness of our living in that shadow, that safe, cool, refreshing place. This morning, the white stone ceremony is a ritual. So I want to talk just for a moment about the power of rituals, about noticing how rituals to some degree have been missing from Western culture, certainly in the last, I would say, 50 years. And rituals are harmonizing, they are healing, and they can be transformative and empowering. In Unity, early in January, it is our tradition to invoke these 4 rituals of the burning bowl, the letter to God, and the white stone, along with, this morning we'll also be touching briefly on the power of imaging of the imagination as manifested in an image board. All 4 of those examples, the bowl, the letter, the stone, and the image board, reflect for us in Unity a new paradigm with regard to rituals. They are different than the rote ceremonies that were traditionally performed exclusively by a member of the clergy. The big difference for us in the rituals that we celebrate in Unity is that we come together as a community, and for me it's a type of a group prayer, to reflect on our inner nature, on our inner landscapes. So the white stone ceremony has a very important function as a ritual. It is a very specific and unique way to contact the power that is always waiting within. It is a ritual that clears congestion, that removes blockages in order to create space for grace, in order to clean out the inside of the cup, as it were, to allow for newness to reside there. And so in creating this space together, as we embark on the white stone ritual, we consciously notice that we are creating this space, establishing a vacuum within in order to allow grace to move us confidently in the direction of expanding self and greater realization of our true nature, which is divine. So this is what we're doing this morning. We're really allowing grace to more fully and freely flow in the space that we are creating. The thing about rituals and imagery and symbols is that they can call us to find sanctity or a quality of holiness, sacredness in the context of everyday life. Our lives are a work of art. They are our individual work of life. And every moment is a moment of creation. In unity, we are deliberate through our thoughts and our words about what we are creating in those moments. And we recognize that each moment contains infinite possibilities. And so in preparing for the white stone ritual, I can say to myself, I can do things the way that I've always done them, or this morning, right here, right now, I can embark on some new alternatives. The new alternative this morning of the white stone creates new levels of meaning, of fulfillment, and of enjoyment of this creative work of art that we call our lives. This consciousness of creating our life comes from two sources, really. The white stone is adapted from a time, ancient times, specifically in the Roman Empire. When a prisoner was released from jail, he was assigned a white stone. He or she carried this white stone as proof for anyone in society to see that they had completed their obligation, that their slate was now clean, and they were free. This white stone, when it was received, was symbolic of leaving behind old stories and starting life anew. And this is the part of the ritual that we embrace this morning. We decide consciously to leave old stories behind and to begin life anew as the artist of our inner landscape. The second source for the white stone ritual comes from the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 17, which reads, "Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying. And I will give you a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it." This secret or sacred aspect of the white stone, I have found in my experience adds power to it. So I would invite you to join me in knowing that its power is derived in part from its sacred secrecy, so that as you move into this process, the name or virtue or quality that you will receive in meditation will be for your ears only. To receive a new name or a new quality as we move into the rest of 2021, we must be willing, first of all, to release negative feelings, negative experiences, and memories that may have continued last year. The space where Spirit is calling all of us this morning contains so much more than we have imagined. As we leave 2020 firmly behind us and start with a clean slate, I invite you most of all at this moment to take inventory of your fortress, of your citadel, of your body temple. Just make sure that if you have a white stone, it is handy with a pen. If you do not have a white stone, I certainly encourage you to use a piece of paper for now until you can transfer what you receive onto a stone. Now, what I would like to do is to invite you, those of you who have a stone, to take it into your hand. Look at its beauty, perhaps its newness. The white stone in our ritual is a symbol of our spiritual identity and our willingness to grow our awareness of that spiritual identity. In a few moments, you will have the opportunity to listen and to hear and to receive a new name that Spirit shares with us, each of us. You may receive a quality, a characteristic of God. It may be a symbol that comes to you or an actual new name, something that is just for you. This is a renaming and a reclaiming of the life that each of us is creating, embarking on the adventure that is 2021. As we go through the process, I'm going to be asking you to be completely at ease, aware of your breath, totally relaxed, and to be able to just allow whatever comes through to come through. There are really 3 steps. The first is release. The second step in the ritual is discernment. And the final step is trying the name on. So first we'll be looking at release, then discernment, and then actually trying the name on. In this fresh beginning, that is 2021, regardless of what last year was like or even what life has felt like up until this moment, this stone represents a fresh beginning. Spirit says to each one of us, behold, I make all things new. And the white stone in your hand is a reminder that we begin again this morning with a clean slate, with a new perspective. We affirm to ourselves that each of us is made in the image of the divine. Each of us is a child of the Most High. As we sit conscious of this symbol of the white stone, we open to possibilities that Spirit already lays before us. We know that any challenge we may face, we do so with faith, moving forward on the path of further realization of our true identity. And so in releasing any residual beliefs that may still lurk in our consciousness, we recognize that we have the freedom to choose how we live our lives. And we allow any thoughts, any feelings or experiences that we still remember perhaps held us back to just rise momentarily. We just see them fleeting like a feather across the screen of our mind. We don't build stories around them, those limiting patterns. We don't call them good or bad. We just notice how willing we are this morning to truly let them go. So we say, I am releasing myself from all limitations of the past, from old fears, all doubts, all limiting thoughts about myself and others, and I allow myself to open to the new life that is renewing me right here, right now, in this holy instant. Pause and feel how that renewal comes through for you. If you feel invigorated, if you feel peaceful, if you feel open, receptive, and willing, then we move into the second step, which is discernment. We imagine that we have left behind all feelings of limitation and that there is a door in front of us, a new door, an open door. and that we walk through that door. The white stone that we hold in our hands says, I am now free. I have a new identity. I am a new purpose. I am a new person. I have served time, and it is now time to believe in my holy self fully. As we know that the stone is an invitation to live our highest good, we invite the divinity, the presence, into our awareness. We invite the activity of God, which is the Holy Spirit, into our hearts and minds. We put any usual thoughts aside, any ideas aside. We move them clearly off the new slate of consciousness and let the divine holy self come through. As we sit in silence for a moment, we just give ourselves full permission to receive this new name, this word. We let it come, we allow it, we do not try to think of it or make it up. Remember, it is already written in your heart. It is just waiting for each of us to open, to receive it. As you move into the silence, affirm, I am divinely guided. I am free. I am unlimited. I have a clean slate. I am willing to make a fresh start. This is a new day, a new opportunity. I am free to be whatever in life I wish. I am willing to hear. I am willing to be led. I am willing to listen to the voice for Spirit in me and to let Spirit guide me now. Spirit now guides me to the name or the word that shall be my guide throughout this fresh new year. As you listen for the new name, as you receive it, when you receive it. Before we write this name on the white stone, I invite you to just pause and notice if the word, as it just has for me, strikes a chord of truth in you. Is there a sense of, yes, I recognize this. I know. This is my new name. Does it require me to grow? Yes. Does it require me to perhaps change, shift, transform a way of being? And even if you were secretly somehow feeling and hoping that it were a different word, is there a sense of rightness about it? A sense of familiarity? This is mine. If so, sense that rightness as you take a few moments and feel the word echoing, resonating, seeping within you. When you are ready, write your new spirit name on your white stone. If nothing has come yet, relax and know that you are still sitting with a clean slate, creating space for grace, a place for something new to emerge. If you have your white stone word and you've recorded it, I'd invite you to feel the anchor of it and notice how this word represents what will absolutely cause you to transform, to shift, and to be different than you've been before. As you take your stone in your hand one last time, you know that Spirit has given us a bridge in this stone, a pass into an incredible new year filled with potential, with growth. We imagine this day moving forward, this day of stepping into a larger, richer, more fulfilling and meaningful expression of life. For we have appeared in human form to learn, to stretch, to grow, and to realize that this new name is now a guiding symbol carrying us through this next stretch of time. And so we bless these stones. We bless this ritual. We bless the name that we have received as an outer symbol of our recommitment to co-create with God a richer, fuller, newer life with God. Amen. As you let the new name settle, I just invite you now to prepare for the next ritual. The ritual, which for me over the years has become a tangible, visible, out picturing of this new, fulfilling, more meaningful life that I have committed to creating with God. I could tell you countless stories of the ways that the ritual of the image board has changed my life in the last 25 years. It is always interesting for me to notice what shifts and what doesn't during the year. Some of you have studied the fact that most limiting beliefs, most limiting thoughts reside below the level of our awareness in the subconscious mind. I know I've shared before that 5 powerful things that move the subconscious mind that allow us to excavate, penetrate, and uproot negativity and limitation. The 5 things that I have found work in excavating deep into the subconscious are strong words, strong emotions, repetition of strong words and strong emotions, as seen in our prayer practice in unity through affirmations. So strong words, strong emotions, repetition of both strong words and strong emotions, beauty, to surround myself in aesthetically pleasing surroundings, beauty, and not surprisingly, music is the 5th. In a moment, Mark will show us the physical depiction of the image board on the screen. I'm just going to go through briefly with you. I have my Bristol board already created upstairs, and I'm just actually going to use a piece of paper like this so that we can move through the image board and our 2021 aspirations. There are 4 categories: being of service in our world, enriching our relationships, attracting, establishing, and enjoying health and wealth, and our spiritual lives. I have the spiritual life as the foundation on the right side where the intellect resides, because for me, it is the intellect that most needs to be released and disengaged when I am seeking to establish spirit as the foundation of my life. So under spiritual, you might add whatever makes sense for you, and you do not have to complete the image board this moment, this hour, or today. Mark has told me he will email this to anyone who would like to receive it. Under spiritual, for me, my first statement is often the same. Make of my life, O God, a prayer. Make of my life, O God, a prayer. My second example might be, may I understand more fully my oneness with you, with spirit. So under spiritual, understanding more fully my oneness with God, my oneness with God. Under spiritual, I also look at the time that I devote in my daily life to practicing the presence. So in reviewing that book this week by Joel Goldsmith, I noticed that he says we will never have truly a realization of the Christ within until we devote at least 4 separate periods in our day, our waking hours, to practicing the presence. Under relationships, what I have noticed most effective and powerful is that I will actually paste photographs of those people in my life, either that I'm seeking a richer relationship with. So, for example, I always place a value on how much time I have to spend with my daughters in their respective families. So time with my daughters spent with them would be my specific example. You will fill in whoever you would like to see more often spending time with you. And it doesn't have to be in person. It can be a commitment to a weekly call or weekly dialogue in a text, whatever works for you, but to enrich those relationships. Certainly my greatest growth continues to come from the family which I chose to incarnate with. And so I have photographs of those family members, small photographs that I have taped into my Bristol board. Perhaps you have a pet, any relationships that you seek greater connection with, understanding, perhaps forgiveness, and of course, communication. In the quadrant next to relationships, we have serving, community, perhaps colleagues will fit under community more so than relationships. It's up to you. For me, under work or service, I have let me be an instrument. Let me be an instrument of your peace, poise, and power in the world. So let me be an instrument of peace, poise, and power in the world. Certainly under serving, if there has been a knock at the door of your heart to serve your spiritual community in some way that you've been thinking for a while and just not sure you're ready to commit to it, then for me, I would again place some symbol or photograph or picture. Often, you won't be surprised, my image boards are full of words that I cut out of magazines. And so for me, the importance of serving the mission of Unity Church of Rochester is important for me professionally and personally, and certainly spiritually. So as part of that vision, we will be praying together in community on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Please join me if you, like I, consider it of value to enrich our prayer lives for ourselves and for our community. Under health and wealth, I encourage you to place what you wish to demonstrate or manifest. So if there is some area in your body temple or in your sense of well-being that you wish to see stronger, then write it as if it has already happened. So for example, I am energetic, I am strong, usually I will write unstoppable. So just whatever works for you. Oftentimes for wealth, I simply know the truth with one of Catherine Ponder's affirmations. I am the rich, rich child of a loving father. Or I might use something from John Randolph Price. God is lavish, unfailing abundance. So anything that works for you. Notice that in the middle of the image board, we have a photograph of ourselves. So in that photo, it's just you shining as the spiritual being that you are. The 2021 theme can be anything that you choose. Consider yourself lucky if you didn't get my theme song in a text yesterday. It's been my theme song for a lot of years, and until it's not working, I won't change it. It's Stevie Wonder's song, I Just Called to Say I Love You. It seems to capture what I'm doing in my life is calling on people to say, I love you. You may place, so the theme can be a song, it can be a goal, it can be a desire, it can be anything that you'd like to see manifest. A song, a desire, a goal, anything that works. Then the white stone word that we got today, mine will be going up there later today. And then in terms of a primary focus, I find it meaningful to select one of the 12 powers that may or may not now be aligned with your white stone word. I find it powerful to select one of the 12 powers and keep it as secret and sacred in this new year as my white stone word. In closing, with regard to the image board, I would just like to share 3 elements that I have found are very important, besides the fact, and I know many of you have been doing this for a long time, but it's worth repeating, that the image board should be somewhere where only you and perhaps the person you live with will see it. It should not be anywhere in your home that's exposed, perhaps on the back or the inside of a closet or somewhere where your eyes, which will record the messages and send them through the retina to the subconscious, can be seeing these 4 quadrants on a regular basis. If you'd like to jot down 3 elements that are necessary, prerequisite for the power of this image board, they are desire. So we must be fully engaged in our hearts with a desire to see these new things manifest more fully. And we might just ask ourselves about desire. Do I truly in my heart desire all of these things? Because if I'm not ready or I don't feel the longing, the yearning, the desire, then I may as well wait on that one. The second necessary element for manifestation in the form of the image board is belief. If I have chosen a goal that is not within the parameters of my believing in it, my possibility that it can be attained, if I do not believe that this goal is achievable, then I will not realize or attain it. And so that's an important part of my prayer process with the image board, is to truly take each thing that I've added and see if I really believe in it and in its attainment. Finally, So we have desire and belief, and the final element required for the image board to be effective is the ability to accept. Am I ready to accept these things coming? You know, sometimes we pursue things and we write them down and we cut out pictures and words without checking in to say, wow, since I am choosing to bring this to pass, am I really comfortable with not only pursuing it, but am I really, really willing to have this? And so that brings these two rituals to a close, the white stone, along with the image board. And my prayer is that they might be, as rituals, new ways to access the Christ within, new ways to not just have and not just do, but to start with being. As you know, in the world, we get that backwards until we wake up. And we are awake. So we do not put doing, having, and being in that order. We realign our priorities. We decide to begin with being who we really are. And these rituals have helped us to tap into that. Being first, then doing what is needed from who we know we are. And finally, the having, the kingdom, because we are seeking it through being. The doing and the having will be added unto us by our connecting with the Christ, with the beingness that lives and breathes and is allowed to have its will done in us.